So the biggest name in women's basketball is weighing in the biggest controversy currently embroiling the league. Superstar Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever responded to questions about teammate Sophie Cunningham recently making clear that transgender athletes should not be competing in women's sports.
It's not really a discussion we really have in our locker room. I think it's for leagues and the governing bodies to work with their athletes to find solutions, but our focus is on basketball, and that's what we talk about.
So Clark's comments came following a loss to the Minnesota Lynx last night, a game that saw the head coach of the Lynx, Cheryl Reeve, wearing a Trans Kids Belong t-shirt, no doubt in response to Fever star Sophie Cunningham's stance on the issue. The two were even seen having a conversation before the game began. Now, meanwhile, a similar conversation was unfolding outside the stadium. Both supporters and critics of Cunningham gathered for a third Fever game in a row. They were holding signs, they were wearing t-shirts with their viewpoint, and this all started when Cunningham gave an interview to ESPN nearly 2 weeks ago. In it, she voiced support for barring transgender girls and women from sports. The discourse reached a turning point last week when the co-owner of the Seattle Storm was fined and also suspended for 5 games for allegedly screaming at 2 teenage girls. The girls were holding a sign in support of Cunningham that said, "Thank you for speaking up for girls." The teens were also wearing XXXY t-shirts from a company that says its mission is to stand up for women's sports. Now, the co-owner was not the only one to berate the girls. This fan did not hold back. Take a listen to this.
You leave my daughter alone. Go. She's a minor. Get up. Security.
Garbage. Take the trash out. Take the trash out.
So for those saying the players should just play, it is worth noting the WNBA has a long history of political activism. In 2020, players wore T-shirts that said Black Lives Matter on the front and Say Her Name on the back, referencing the murder of Breonna Taylor. The league also put the phrase on the actual basketball courts. And in 2016, the WNBA became one of the first pro leagues to march with a float in New York City's Pride Parade. So what has changed in 2026? Well, critics say the outrage against Sophie Cunningham shows the WNBA allows players to express their opinions as long as they are progressive opinions. So is that what's going on here? Is that what the change is? Joining us now is former ESPN anchor Sage Steele. She also is the host of the Sage Steele Show. Thank you for being with us, Sage. It's nice to see you. First of all, what was your initial reaction to head coach of the Lynx, Cheryl Reeve, wearing a Trans Kids Belongs t-shirt to Sunday's game against Sophie Cunningham and the Fever? What did you first think when you saw it?
It was obviously a message she wanted to send loud and clear. And then I laughed. The reason I laughed is because it has nothing to do with trans kids. We are talking about men, grown men, saying that they're women who potentially, in the WNBA case, want to play in the WNBA. Right now, that hasn't happened yet, Brian. We're talking about how it is happening, though, throughout many other sports and many other levels. So we're trying to almost weaponize the word kid and children to, dig deep on the feelings of people instead of the facts, which are what? The science behind this, that men and women are different. And you can call yourself a woman, you can call yourself a cat, call yourself whatever you want, but the facts are what? Trans women are men. And the W in WNBA stands for women. So I just hate it when words like that are weaponized. And Sophie Cunningham made it very, very clear from day one, when, by the way, she didn't bring this up. She was asked by an ESPN reporter about this topic, and she answered. And then as the controversy brewed, she went on Twitter and said the same thing, which is, I am not trying to exclude anyone. Everybody is welcome at my table, but this is the WNBA, and I think it is incredible that she is the only current professional athlete on the women's side, certainly here in North America, of the major sports, that has chosen to state the obvious, that women's sports are for women.
Do you think others are just scared? I mean, look what happened to
Yes.
her. I mean, why get involved when you're going to face this kind of backlash publicly?
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, it is real. And I think Sophie Cunningham is feeling that now. I mean, many of us, this happened 5-6 years ago with COVID, and look at what was happened if you were just questioning the vaccine, right? So what do? You just stay quiet and you just don't talk about it. The problem is that too many people in this instance have chosen to stay quiet when this isn't even about an opinion, really. I mean, this comes down to the facts that women and men are biologically different. This has never been debated in the history of the world, and all of a sudden it is. I understand, Brian. I understand the fear. I understand why people go silent. But the question is, to what end? What is your line? We have 53, 54 years of women who had fought for Title IX. And isn't it fascinating now that all the women that benefited from Title IX, past athletes, present athletes, are now quiet when it comes to protecting the young women who want to be them when they grow up. Mm-hmm. So the hypocrisy in this is thick. We need to commend Sophie, because it is scary, and she has continued to stand for truth. There are people on her team that disagree with her, who won't even back her publicly, maybe privately, but not publicly, including her head coach, when every single person knows that there is a difference. And I'll end on this. I'm sorry, obviously this is a passionate topic for me. Cheryl Reeve, the Lynx head coach who wore the Trans Kids Belong t-shirt yesterday, she is also on record very recently talking about how angry it makes her when men are taking over head coaching roles in the WNBA. So it's okay in certain areas, but not for head coaches, because that might directly affect her. Again, like, the hypocrisy is thick, and the irony with that inconsistency is something that we should not ignore.
Yeah, it's interesting that all of this is, I'm just looking at her t-shirt, and it's like you just go to watch the basketball game, and there's a lot of distractions happening right now. Sage Steele, I really appreciate you for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.